You know me as the host of the Too Busy to Eat show, but I'm also founder and CEO of Too Busy to Eat, the protein bar company. I make what I feel is the healthiest and best tasting protein bar on the market. So now it developed from my own frustration of not being able to find a bar that tasted good and that was extremely healthy, that I could have maybe multiple times a day if I was really busy, or I could feed my kids and not feel guilty about what they ate. So I created this bar with grass-fed whey protein, no more than 3 grams of sugar, which is all naturally occurring, and it's gluten-free, non-GMO, the list goes on. So don't take my word for it. I want you to try them. And I want to give you incentive to try them. So I'm going to give you 20% off your first order. You can get a sample bag of bars, or you can get a whole box, whatever you want. Go to my website, toobusytoeat.com. Not hard to remember. Show, the company. And enter the promo code TBTE Show. TBTE Show. Actually, it's a discount box when you check out, and you'll get 20% off your first order, no matter how small or large. So go to the website now, try them out, and then let me know what you think. Welcome to the Too Busy to Eat show. Today, we have Nora Tobin on the show. Nora is involved in a lot of things. She is a fitness and nutrition expert. She is a health and fitness consultant. She hosted wellness events for brands like Shape Magazine, Eddie Bauer, GoPro, Roxy, and just to name a few. She's helped thousands of people improve their overall well-being through fitness, nutrition, and positive mindset. So if you're looking to get better in fitness, nutrition, or mindset, get ready for Nora. Here we go. Welcome, Nora. I'm so excited. We worked out through your busy schedule to get you on the Too Busy to Eat show. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Greg. I'm so happy to be here.
I know, getting schedules aligned is not easy, because one thing we'll talk about is being busy, and that is you. You are multi-talented, you have a lot of things going. So I'm really thankful that you took the time to spend it with us. So I've already given the overview of who you are, but why don't you give us a little bit more insight and an overview of how you got to where you are today? I mean, you do a lot of different things, but kind of the general idea of how you got where you are.
Yeah, definitely. I started my big dream originally was to be a professional beach volleyball player. And that was what really got me into the fitness world. I mean, I grew up in Tahoe as a competitive skier and outdoor athlete with my family. And so I was already in the sports and into fitness in that way, but really training and nutrition and high performance lifestyle came from beach volleyball. And from there, I started a fitness business in Santa Barbara, where I started working one-on-one with clients, and then moved over to developing wellness programs for corporations, 5-star hotels, and then just really took that and my experience and knowledge in that world and took it to editorial and I still write for Shape Magazine and Sports Illustrated and a variety of publications that I really felt like that was a great platform to get my messaging out and help a lot of people all at once.
Right.
So I try to approach it from the programming with the hotels and the corporations, and then the content side with publishers, and now products, which is really I'm so excited about right now. And I think it has like the most potential, because I think if we can change the way people eat and think about nutrition, we can change a whole issue of problems that we have face today.
Right. Absolutely. And I think, just knowing how you operate, how you work. I mean, what do you think? I know what your secret sauce is to your success, because you've done a lot of things. You're in a lot of things. What do you think has gotten you to your point? If there's think about this young apprentice that's going to learn from you, what would you tell?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think number one is just like relentless pursuit, never really giving up.
That's the one I was thinking of you, but yeah.
Constantly banging down doors, constantly reaching out, constantly following up, and knowing that, if something's not happening right now, doesn't mean it's not ever going to happen, or you might just have something else that comes that's better or just was meant to be. But I do think like as an entrepreneur and just in business in general, you have to have that thick skin and that strong mindset of not quitting and not giving yourself an opportunity to quit, where you're going to get a lot of no's, you're going to get a lot of, things that you try that haven't happened yet. But I think that's how people become really successful, is when they push past that and know that it's all a process and it just takes time, and you need a lot of patience, but you also need a lot of perseverance and hard work. It's like so much work. It's so much work, but it's so worth it. It's like if you fall in love, you can't ask for anything better than that. You want to work hard. You want to do it day in and day out, and just go for exactly what you want, because you have one life to do it.
That's right. I love that. And I knew that was my thought for you, because I know that's what your secret sauce is. You just never give up. And that's kind of funny if you think about that in the business world and bring that into the fitness or nutrition world. It's really the same thing. I mean,
true. Yeah. It's so true. I think especially with with both fitness and nutrition, you really have to give yourself that time to figure out what works best for you and what works best for your body, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different system, and there's general guidelines that I tell everyone and different tips that I give to my clients and remind myself. But a lot of it is just like patience and knowing that you're going to get the results you want. You just got to give yourself some time to do it.
Yes. That's a good attribute to have, that non-quit, never stop in anything we do. That's great. Yeah. What are some of the things, I mean, I know you have so many things going on, but what are some of the things you're most excited about now? I mean, with all the different pieces of writing and all the things you have, what are you really excited about?
I'm really excited about the different shows I'm working on. I'm trying to get a couple shows made, which is so new for me. And again, it's like anything. There's no roadmap. There's nothing that says, this is where you start, this is where you end. Right. I guess in corporations it's different. There's definitely a lot more structure. But what I love about the shows and what I love about what I'm trying to do now, it's not anything I've ever done before. It's nothing that I went to school for. It's nothing that I have learned in the past. But I really think if you find the right mentors and find people who've done it before you in such a great way, and you want to emulate what they did, you learn from them, and you again put in the work to do it. But then also just like giving yourself the opportunity and the belief that you can do it, and know that you're going to learn and you're going to falter along the way, I'm sure. But so much of it is just like perseverance. And so anyway, back to your question about what I'm doing. So that one is really exciting. And then the bars, of course, the Too Busy to Eat bars, I think are bars. Yeah. For the longest time I was recommending bars to my clients and the hotels and my readers, about what to eat as snacks. Cause that's a question I got, like the number one question I got all the time is what you should eat when you're on the go, because most people are too busy to go cook and have like full meals throughout the day.
Right.
And I just could not find, we couldn't find anything that was healthy enough to really recommend to our clients that doesn't have sugar, didn't have all the artificial flavors and, hidden sugars and extra carbs and all the things that these snack products have. There's obviously a lot of great snack products out there, but not a ton that are so portable that you can just take with you. So I think the bars are it's thrilling because it's an unlimited potential to reach so many people with the best product on the market.
Yes. And I agree. And then just Nora and I are, for those listening, that we have a partnership with the Too Busy to Eat bar, but she's on the show because of our relationship, but more so because of all the things she has to add with her fitness and nutrition background and all the things. So we'll probably talk a lot about bars because that's what we like a lot. But there's a lot to offer outside the bars. So let's go back to just health in general. You stay really busy, you travel a lot, you have a lot of things going. What are some of the key principles you follow to stay healthy when you are on the go? Maybe to maybe just your regular on the go, where you're in Santa Barbara doing your regular routine, and then when you're traveling, headed to New York or wherever you're going?
Yeah.
The key principle.
I think the number one thing for me that I find to work and day in and day out, it always works, is some kind of movement. I think the days that I don't move, that I don't exercise, I'm very cranky. You don't want to be around me. And I also just don't find that I can focus that well on what I'm doing. I don't find that I'm as creative. I don't have, really great ideas that I need for this job and this business that I'm trying to run. And I don't have that energy that I think is really important, especially as a health and fitness coach and instructor. Like, you got to give a lot of energy, and you got to be able to constantly give that energy out to everyone that you interact with, even in meetings. Like any business person I come across, any client that I have, I always want to try and give this like powerful energy to them, because I think it affects them, and I think it helps lift them up, and it helps inspire them to do whatever it is that they're set out to do. So I think number one is exercise, because for me, if I don't, I'm not going to have that energy. I'm not going to be able to give it. Number two would be definitely specific tools for nutrition. So I don't always have time to cook. In fact, I don't cook that much anymore. I used to cook a lot more. But I always make it a point to get a lot of greens in throughout my day. So if I have a shake, I throw spinach in it, frozen spinach. If I have, time for lunch, which I usually do, like I usually make sure that I have a full meal at lunch, because it just helps me. I usually have like a big salad, because it's easy. You can go to Whole Foods and you can get a ton of stuff thrown into at the salad bar, and you're fulfilled, and you're not with olive oil and things that like have healthy fats. So you're not hungry. Right. And it's really satisfying, and you feel good. And so that's, for me, that's really important. Dinner, I usually try and cook, or if I go out, it's always some clean protein, like a fish or grass-fed meat with veggies. And then my go-to is always sweet potatoes, because it doesn't raise your blood sugar. It's like so rich in fiber. I throw in a lot of grass-fed butter, so it makes it even better. And it's like it's super satisfying. And then as far as drinks and, what I do for caffeine throughout the day, I always do the coffee with coconut oil blended in first thing in the morning, which keeps me full until like late morning, which really helps, because usually in the morning is the time that I spend writing. I just finished my book proposal. That's what I'm most excited about.
If someone's going to remember some of the most things.
But I spend a lot of time working on that, and that's like my go-to first thing in the morning. I sit down, spend 3 hours, get up really, really early, spend 3 hours at my desk just writing, without email distractions, texting, anything that kind of gets in the way of that later in the afternoon. And the coffee really helps me, because it wakes me up. It gives me that fat that I need to keep me satisfied, and gives me some really great energy for mental clarity. And then I go on with my day.
And you're but you're
that
fueled
helps a lot. And then what else? Like late afternoon snacking is, I always get that sugar. I don't actually, not as much anymore, but I used to get like that big dive in my energy. So I try and do like a green tea, and either like some kind of protein, like a bar now, our bars, or a shake is great too. Something in between lunch and dinner is super important.
So that's great. Now, what are some of the keys when you're on the road? How do you? I mean, this is a lot of different components. Can you do all that, or is there little tricks that you come up with to make that happen?
Yeah, the tricks. So lately I've been traveling a lot to New York, and fortunately in New York, they have a lot of healthy food. There's like a lot of great restaurants and great places that you can find whatever you want, like great veggies, great fish, anything like that. So for meals, I try and stick to that. But again, there's like, if it's a sales meeting, or if it's something where it's like a fancy dinner, I usually try and stick to that, but it can derail very quickly, which I think for most people it does. And that's when I just try and think about like certain tricks that really help. So if I'm on a business trip, I try and stay low carb. because low carb is easy to do when like anywhere you go. It's not always like the most fun thing to do, but it's definitely, if I really want to make sure that I stay healthy, stay energized, keep my weight in balance, everything that stays, solid, I try and stick to low carb, which is like, for dinners, I'll do a great meat, great steak, great chicken, great fish, whatever it is with, tons of veggies. I ask for like, anything that they have that's veggies that they can mix together. Big salad, like you can never go wrong with a lot of veggies on the sides. And then still have like that treat. So if you want to treat yourself, like go and have like every time I go to New York, I always have a great slice of New York pizza because you have to. It's like New York.
Yeah.
So it's just balancing that. But like that's a trick, is to stay low carb. And then I find that the airplane food and like airport food is really hard to navigate, hard to figure out what's healthy, what's not. I know there are healthy options, but I just avoid that altogether and go with snacks. So I'll try and go with, raw nuts, some berries, a bar, green powder. So they make powders now that you can put in your water. That's like super easy. It has all your nutrients in it. So stuff like that helps a lot with travel.
No, that is great. That is a big challenge. Coming up with those alternatives for all the crap you're going to come in contact with. But that's one of the things is and you have systems, you have planning. That's one of the big keys. If you have that planned out, you can do it, which is great.
Yeah. For sure. And I also think just like as far as healthy travel, sleep is super important. And it's really hard to get a good night's sleep if you're not in your own bed, if you're out late, if you're having cocktails, whatever it might be. There's always some factor that makes sleeping hard. And what I've learned actually, which is magnesium, is usually very deficient in those times, especially when I'm traveling. And I get a powdered magnesium because it absorbs better in your bloodstream. And I have never slept better. Like I now just do it before I go to bed every night because it also helps with anxiety. It helps, just calm your nervous system down. And it doesn't act as a sleep aid. So it's not like going to leave you groggy the next day.
Yeah. That was I stumbled upon that research, and that understanding magnesium was huge. I just, that when I added that, that was a big change. I used to have, sleep issues and then cramping, and then I started magnesium supplementation, and it's gone away. It's crazy. It's great.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah. It's like,
one little tweak to your diet and nutrition, and then it can change everything.
For sure.
What is your biggest, just in general, not necessarily just when you travel, what's your biggest obstacle to staying healthy?
Obstacle to staying healthy, I would say my love for sweets. I'm a big sweets person. I love dessert. It's really hard for me not to have dessert after dinner. But just in my profession and my job, what I'm trying to do, you can't have sweets overnight. It's hard to like go to a photo shoot after eating tons of chocolate cake or cookies every day. But I do find that there are tricks to still getting your sweets without going that route. So I actually make a lot of almond flour cookies, which is like my favorite thing, with butter and flax meal and stevia. And, it's a great recipe that doesn't raise your blood sugar again. It doesn't make you gain weight. It doesn't leave you feeling sluggish. So that helps me a lot. And then I would say, another big obstacle is just not having that much time to cook. I think I used to cook a lot. I used to be vegan, and that's when it was like you had to cook. You had to be. Now they have a ton of options, so it's not as big of a deal. But it was I was definitely being creative with cooking. And now that I don't, I really try, if I do eat out, to try and get organic, grass fed, pesticide free. It's important. It's hard to when you eat out. So I end up going to Whole Foods a lot and getting that kind of food, because I think it affects your body in a big way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're inundated with toxins all the time. And if we can control as much as we can control, like through our food sources, that's one advantage we can have, and we can control that. I know yeah, some things are more expensive than others, but you got to really do everything you can in your budget area to maximize the quality of food you're eating.
Exactly. 100%.
So if there was, I was going to, one of the questions I usually ask, what's your favorite food on the run? And, we got too busy eating for us to be
insert product. No, but honestly, that has been such a savior for me.
Oh,
because, and I'm not just saying it because it's our product. It's just, it's hard to find great quality snacks when you're busy, when you're going from one thing to the next. And what I find it to be really important that I sometimes lack in my snacking is protein, because I'll bring, raw nuts with me or berries, but I will not, most of the time I don't have time to make a protein shake, or it's hard to find quality protein on the road. And so that's just been a savior. Like grass-fed whey is the number one thing that helps with recovery, with, athleticism, with your performance. So that number one's been the best.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Now, I do want to, so you mentioned a lot of things on the horizon. Tell us about, what can you tell us about your book proposal without giving away secrets? I know that you're very excited.
So it's so crazy. This is talk about perseverance. I've written 4 book proposals. The first one, anyway, long story short, there's for one thing or the other, it just didn't go. And I found it to be motivating. I found it to be hard and discouraging, but also motivating to say, okay, what can I redo here? What can I change? And I ended up I ended up writing a whole new proposal after a couple drafts of the last one. And I found from my own experience, what happened to me was, I went vegan. And so my first, it's funny because the book proposals go in stages of my life and my experiences. So my first one was a vegan book because I was vegan. I was seeing all these great, benefits of being vegan. I was reading about the animal rights and all that, which is all true.
Right.
And wonderful. And I fully believe in that. Just eating more local, sustainable foods if you can, if you're going to go the animal route. So this book proposal came about because I was really struggling. After being vegan for 2 years, I was gaining weight. I had very low energy. I just had a lot of issues. I didn't know what was really going on, and I got my hormones checked, and they were in fact totally out of balance. I'm 26, or I was 26 then, and it shouldn't be happening.
No.
But it just goes to show you, nutrition makes a huge difference in your hormones. So got that tested. My thyroid was very, very low, and there was all these things that were going on. And part of it was because I wasn't eating the right foods. I wasn't having enough of the right vitamins, the right protein, the right carbs through my diet.
Right.
And then on the flip side of that, I was exercising too much. So I was really doing a lot of high intensity training.
Right.
Lifting, volleyball, sprints, stadiums, you name it, I was doing it, and I wasn't taking breaks. And that was getting my cortisol, which is your stress hormone, for all the listeners, through the roof. And that really screwed my whole system up. And I was all of a sudden holding on to fat because my cortisol was so high. And when I figured out a plan to balance that through walking and yoga, through the right diet plan, and through the right types of intervals at the right times, and supporting your system when you're doing that high intensity intervals, like eating more calories on those days and eating less calories on the other days, I found huge changes in my body. I lost weight. I felt better. My hormones came back into balance. My cortisol dropped. So, and long answer to your question, that's kind of the summary of the book. It's how to balance your health through diet, fitness, and hormones, because hormones is one of those components that gets overlooked, but it's super important.
Absolutely. And I found in my own, not necessarily personally, but as helping people when I was doing my weight loss programs, the hormone issue can be so demoralizing because you don't know what's wrong. And so you take care of these other things and without knowing how to control that or maximize your hormones, you could you could just be spinning your wheels and working out and doing all these things you think are right, but just not going anywhere or going backwards or gaining weight when you don't think you should be. Yeah, it's a big, huge issue with everybody, but a lot of definitely with women. It's a major issue. Yeah,
major with women, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You can, as I learned, you can affect you in many different ways.
Yeah. Now, just the last thing I wanted to, if you were, a lot of times people will listen to advice and they'll go away and that was all good and you gave some amazing advice. But if there's one thing you could tell somebody, that one piece of advice to help somebody stay healthy, what would that be? If there's only one thing you could tell them.
Oh, Greg, that's a tough question.
I know because you have so many good ones.
No, I just think, let me just think for a second. I think the number one thing that I've seen a huge change in, whether it's through my family, through my own experience, through my clients, cut out all the processed foods as best you can that contain high sugar.
Right.
And sorry, this is like two-part, but stay low in carbs.
Yeah.
Stay low in carbs because, there are so many great carb options like sweet potatoes, veggies, white rice actually is good for you now. They changed that. But there's these great options out there that you get that carb fill, but you don't have to go, the other route, which is like white pasta, crackers.
Right.
And of course, like I will eat that occasionally and I'll have cheese and crackers and wine on some weekends. And there's definitely, doesn't have to be so strict every single day, but the more you can cut it out, the better off our whole system will be. And this is just the last story on that, which I think is like the most phenomenal, amazing story ever, is one of our dear friends had a family member who was struggling with cancer. And what he knew about nutrition and what I knew and some of our friends know is how to cut down the carbs to improve your overall health.
Yeah.
And cut out all the processed foods. And in, I think, 2 months of doing that, it was like night and day. Cancer almost went all the way away and he's never been better. And awesome. I know you were a huge part of that, Greg, and our group was. And I think that's the most amazing thing to see. It's like nutrition can save you, can literally save you and
save your life. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, without complicating it too much, like that's just number one, I think, is cut out the carbs.
Yeah, I echo that completely. I mean, that's what the heart of all my advice comes down to that too. I mean, there's other pieces to it, but that's great. That's really, and it's life-changing. It really is. True. Well, Nora, thank you enough. It's awesome. We finally got connected in our schedule.
I'm so happy.
So thank you so much for your time. And I know that, if there's somebody, wants to get connected to you, best way is noratobin.com, correct?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You reach out to Nora. She's great to talk to. She would love to talk to you. So noratobin.com. And Nora, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you, Greg. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.